Yeah. Oh, hey, Miss Rebecca, I'm through her. I got an ambulance here. Yes. I a coat of arm now, but who I had to Dubai.
Dubai new. They don't mind anything. Go a train no more. Say, Niaukano. Ose, which California now no? Which California?
Mamma large actually.
Mammy souvenir more. Which California now no? Which California? We in your Ghana. We in your Ghana. We for them right. So, Dubai.
Okay. So
see, hey, you're riding a couple. Ghana pa, you rade.
Ambulance normally by funded by World Bank.
World Bank, Mamu Church, Reni.
So what we check?
Mammy, Person Mooney. Now, don't, and you're gonna run much trouble, eh? Beshadia, don't, Beshadia. Say Ghana, ye. Ambulance, pow. Ambulance, pow.
Yeah, Tom. Ghana.
Now, call 112 away, 1 there.
A coat of arm. The boss said, we net a World Bank at the mine. Say, you're from hospital. They ain't using it buy it. Chami, no more in Dubai.
No, mammy, try ye.
No more in Dubai.
Maybe I'm moving because I edit it. My truck with 3 years now, and brand year. What do you want to time? They said the radiology specialist ambulance, Ministry of Health, funded by World Bank.
National Ambulance Service.
National Ambulance Service. Share. Robber, a new ambulance. Don't ambulance way better than a bedroom Dubai. Don't. Ambulance way better than a bedroom Dubai.
I work bank to ambulance in my car. Any intimate. Offer. Yo, to video a Mushaman question. Oh, you're paying for a million. I go for ambulance hospital. It's by a ton. 115,000 drams,
which is almost like 300 and something thousand Ghana. It's almost like 300 and something thousand Ghana cedis.
This ambulance will be here. Ghana, you coat of arm, the bone, you should be a chapel, the bone, coat of arm, with freedom and justice. In ye, Ghana, Dina, Ghana, in ye, Ghana, Ghana Ambulance Service, Ghana. Yeah, we. Listen to each other.
Mr. Speaker, again, let me take you to the ambulance service. Mr. Speaker, on paragraph 9.11, and with your permission, I read. The National Ambulance Service indicated to the committee that despite their vital role, for example, out of the 67,500,000 allocation to them, they only received 20.1 million. Mr. Speaker, in 2022, the Ghana Ambulance Services made not less than 41,000 cases. In 2023, as at the time they appeared before us, they had made only 27,000 cases. Mr. Speaker, as I have read from the report, out of about 67 million Ghana cedis allocation, they had received only 20 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, out of the 307 ambulances that were imported into this country, Mr. Speaker, in 2020, about 79 has completely been broken down. They are not operation. They are not in operation. And 12 have been involved in accident. So in all, about 91 of the ambulances are not in operation. Mr. Speaker, if we continue this way, I can assure you that in the next 1 to 2 years, we're not going to have a single ambulance in the fleet. Mr. Speaker, interestingly, once the National Ambulance Service is complaining of funds to even maintain the already existing ambulances, we have ordered about 26 new ambulances again. And out of these 26 ambulances that were supposed to be delivered in 2022 January, only 10 has been delivered as of now, and the rest are sitting in Dubai, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, again, when we don't have a sustainable source of even maintaining the already existing fleets, we are thinking about importing another 112 new ambulances. Mr. Speaker, if somebody is not thinking about, kickback, what is it that we cannot get money to maintain the fleet we have, but we are still buying more? We are behaving like somebody who is fetching water into a cane basket. We cannot maintain the fleet and we keep buying more. Mr. Speaker, it is very, very, very important if indeed we want to take emergency healthcare issues in this country seriously. We must begin to look at the National Ambulance Service. And for me, I am not surprised that they keep demanding. Mr. Speaker, again, let me take you to the ambulance service. Mr. Speaker, on paragraph 9.11, and with your permission, I read, the National Ambulance Service indicated to the committee that despite their vital role, for example, out of the 67,500,000 allocation to them, they only received 20.1 million. Mr. Speaker, in 2022, the Ghana Ambulance Services made not less than 41,000 cases. In 2023, as at the time they appeared before us, they had made only 27,000 cases. Mr. Speaker, as I have read from the report, out of about 67 million Ghana cedis allocation, they had received only 20 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, out of the 307 ambulances that were imported into this country, Mr. Speaker, in 2020, about 79 has completely been broken down. They are not operation. They are not in operation. And 12 have been involved in accident. So in all, about 91 of the ambulances are not in operation. Mr. Speaker, if we continue this way, I can assure you that in the next 1 to 2 years, we're not going to have a single ambulance in the fleet. Mr. Speaker, interestingly, once the National Ambulance Service is complaining of funds to even maintain the already existing ambulances, we have ordered about 26 new ambulances again. And out of these 26 ambulances that were supposed to be delivered in 2022 January, only 10 has been delivered as of now, and the rest are sitting in Dubai, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, again, when we don't have a sustainable source of even maintaining the already existing fleets, we are thinking about importing another 112 new ambulances. Mr. Speaker, if somebody is not thinking about, kickback, what is it that we cannot get money to maintain the fleet we have, but we are still buying more? We are behaving like somebody who is fetching water into a cane basket. We cannot maintain the fleet and we keep buying more. Mr. Speaker, it is very, very, very important if indeed we want to take emergency healthcare issues in this country seriously. We must begin to look at the National Ambulance Service. And for me, I am not surprised that they keep demanding money from people before they deliver their services.
Reports purporting or coming from the Office of the Special Prosecutor
trying to indict the Deputy Commissioner of Operations and myself. And if anybody who has read that report very well will know the basis of that. And luckily for me, God is always on my side. Before that report came, that person had made a statement to some people who had come to them. He was going to publish something that will discredit me, and he will do that. And I even sent people to go and tell him that he's a small boy. I'm older than him. I have lived a meaningful life. If he attempts to destroy me, it won't be easy for him. People have tried it. I have survived, and this one too, I'll survive. All that happened. One of the reasons was because of Mr. Akurugu. He wanted Mr. Akurugu to be seconded to his office, and I said no. Mr. Akurugu is a customs officer, primarily employed to do customs work. And he is to partner Mr. Akutofachin in that office, African Continental Free Trade Area. He deals with tariffs and valuation, and therefore, I cannot second him to the office of the special prosecutor because he has a primary role to play in customs. And then he comes back through the Commissioner General. And again, I said, I insist and will go by that he has a primary role. It is when I don't have a role for him or I can dispense with his services, I have others to do what he's going to do, that I will give him to you. So I insist. And he calls me to his office when in relation to La Bianca. And at the end of it, he talks to me about this same matter. And I said, yes, it is not the Commissioner General. I wrote it. Go and check it. And I have my reasons. He will not be released to you. He will be in customs. And then behind me, he goes to resign. He's given the position of Commissioner of Police a rank, and he's now with your office. And he goes to make allegations that Mr. Duce and myself will hate him, and they will deal with us. So that is it. That is the basis of that publication. But if you read it very well, there's nothing in it. It's hollow. It's actuated by malice, and those who are behind it, they know themselves. They know themselves. They've tried it several times. It is not working, and they want it won't work. I'm ready for any prosecution. That's what he must do. Not to say that they should do further investigations up to 2017. Up to 2015, I have letters written by Deputy Commissioner Demis Agavo granting similar things. And I produced them when he called me. He didn't have the letters, but I had the letters. My predecessor, Mr. Kenson, had those letters. This is common practice in customs. If you want to remove me, I have no problems. I won't be Commissioner Customs forever. I'm ready to go. But don't disgrace me. Don't hide behind people for your own failures, incompetencies, and then come and deal with me.
I do not intend to sound as though I'm predicting doom. But we are facing doom. There appears to be a developing trend of rather regressive and dismissive judicial decisions in respect of cases involving the OSP with troubling consequences. And it seems to us that a careful examination of these outcomes portends a disturbing specter that the fight against corruption is being hampered to the disbenefit of us all.
This is the description of what the Office of the Special Prosecutor calls a dangerous trend. For the man who took an oath to fight corruption in Ghana, the country has a long way to go in the fight. Ghana currently scores averagely on the Transparency Index when it comes to the fight against corruption. Kisie Jabin says the OSP's work has been made difficult by some decisions of the courts. He cited some cases he thinks the courts erred in stopping the OSP from investigating.
It is extremely unusual and highly suspicious for a public officer to have such large cash sums stashed in their homes, and that the circumstances of the case dictated pause and reflection and the granting of the OSP adequate time to carry out its investigation. In our estimation, the judge was only interested in the return of the money to the person of interest and nothing more. And he proceeded to erect non-existent legal barriers to prevent the OSP from investigating the matter.
He rubbished the court's ruling that the OSP went against the law in handling the cases.
It is also of the utmost importance that the judiciary should not interfere with investigation and prosecution authorities in respect of matters which are within their statutory powers. It will be gravely inimical to public policy, the fight against corruption, and the administration of justice if the court stepped into this arena to decide who should be investigated, who should be prosecuted, and who should not. That is not the function of adjudication.
He, for instance, asked why a judge should stop the OSP from arresting an alleged culprit with an injunction.
The person, through his lawyer, proceeded to the Human Rights Court on an ex parte application, and the judge, without even an inquiry as to why the OSP believed him to be a fugitive from justice, issued an injunction that the OSP should not arrest the person for a period of 10 days.
For the law you passed on the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I did tell you that it was an act in futility. You were not going to achieve anything from that, but you went ahead to pass it. I disagreed with you, but I was alone. Well, I'm very clear in my mind that that authority is embedded in the powers of the Attorney General, constitutionally. What you just need to do is to fund the office of the Attorney General well and remove the Minister of Justice. You separate the two. Minister of Justice is a political appointee. The Attorney General is a technical person, and he only is ranked in conditions of service to that of a Minister of State. It doesn't mean they have to be incorporated too. I have no problem with Attorney General being a minister. I'm only saying you separate that from the Minister of Justice. Yes. For the law you passed on the
result of the vote. So you can actually vote for a party which can punish you. Yes. And they can punish you and create hardship for you, but because you see it like supporting Olympics or Accra House of Folk, you still support, although the policies are not favoring you. It's not about party colors. A nation becomes what its citizens vote for. Sometimes we pray, we say, let's pray for the nation, that God will bless the nation. No, we have to pray that the citizens will make intelligent choices. Because if the citizens don't make intelligent choices, God is not going to come and rule Ghana for us.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Wednesday, the 17th day of January 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our news papers. Daily Graphic. Disregard GES guidelines on PTA, National Council to members. NCA launches 5-year strategic plan, framework on organ transplant and donation in the offing. African Prosperity Dialogues to focus on food security and others. President off for World Economic Forum and NAM conference. The Metro Lens. I'm ready to put myself on the altar of sacrifice for Ghanaian youth. That's Dr. Samankra. SDHH petitions EC to reschedule voting day from Sabbath. Jospon chairman sets tone for innovation and excellence at JLC 2024. TUC rejects Mohammed's honeymoon request. Daily Guide. Northern Region NDC boys on rampage. Otunfo gives IGP thumbs up. AG files papers in Sicily Adapa mate's trial. Ambulance case, court to decide Dr. Animane's fate. NPP names PC elections voting centers. The New Crusading Guide. Judicial Service poo-poos mischief makers over late Justice Mafusal's Bungalow says project will be beneficial. Adum Biama Benedicta to cause upset in Achiansi to become first NPP female parliamentary candidate. We feel insulted by Kenya Japan, Bantama NPP delegates. CBG ready for 2024 as Finance Ministry injects 2.5 billion cedis capital. You've made a plea so impactful, Asantini thumbs up Dampare. Akim Swedro NPP supporters endorse Kwesi Kwenin Busumpim as next parliamentary candidate. The Insight. Corruption. Domelevo says Akufo-Addo failed to honor pledge and protect public purse. His MP for Akim Swedro entangled in varied and murky use of date of birth as questions of his documentation are raised. Corruption, broken jail running amok under Akufo-Addo, John Mahama. 400,000 march in Washington, D.C. against U.S. President Joe Biden's complicity in Israel's genocide. The Informer. First Sky Kolebu project on course. Kidney transplant center ready this year. Group chairman assures. This is big. Towards addressing poverty, unemployment, and underdevelopment in Africa, AFCFTA endorses prosperity dialogues as Gabi urges media to take interest in APD activities. Impose hefty fines on frivolous election petitioners. Former AG tells court. COP George Mensah again accuses Baumia, IGP Dampare of working against his political career. Low participation in local level elections, lack of incentives blamed. The Inquisitor, Wontumi alleged attack on Menshia, Nana Boachi stirs controversy. Jospon chairman sets tone for innovation and excellence at JLC 2024. We feel insulted by Kenya Japan, Bantama NPP delegates. Sum MP is hot over leaked audio. Fourth term beckons Afenyo marking. The Herald. Ghana's overstayed army chief hides behind juju attacks and jealousy, indulges in self-adulation. Government spokesperson runs from his $500,000 lies against Lordina Mahama. Revolution in cocoa seedling cultivation as CRIG introduces Miracle Grow potting mix. NCA moving towards excellence with 5-year strategic plan. Jospon chairman sets stage at 11th edition of JLC. The Daily Searchlight. SML. Trouble brews at Revenue Authority as staff chase retired Amishadai, Seidu, and Esiam. IGP on night patrols as staff commend his vision and motion approach. Judicial Services aware of redevelopment program. Jospon chairman sets tone for innovation and excellence at JLC 2024. The Ghanaian publisher, CBG, receives 2.5 billion cedis fresh capital. NDC supporters lock up party office in Tamale. No honeymoon. 2025 president must not ask for time. Abu Jinapo. And that's about it. For the front pages, we'll be back shortly.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
On my long and stressful days, I long for the refreshing company of my favorite companion.
Wow, my favorite.
Tomato onions, maybe tomatoes.
Hi. Oh, hello. Please, I need to know the drink you were enjoying earlier at the shop.
Sure. Even on Sundays in the market, nothing is for one.
Guess what I brought?
A refreshing companion for you and I.
My favorite.
Angel Drinks. Nyamepe, nyawenijehu.
This advert is FDA approved.
anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Repacho Bantama.
Matisse.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me, Jidi said we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan.
Kile Hossein. Cal 360 did the work. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance, and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ikropong. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ekropon right after the Latte Junction or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
So we have stadium feeling wow them. Everything 12 January, I got him say about Afcon every year. My Afcon and Soja call. I won't fear Hisense TV, Afcon TV, and a sound system. Yatisu say who? A Hisense Afcon double promo. Yeah, best you Afcon beer. I love Afcon beer. Can you clear our Hisense and the Afcon TV so? Sadonly Yedida. That's a commentary no so chegua. Tell clear our Hisense sound system so. Bora Hisense showroom bia. Na ube say atete TV any sound system so. Esan Afcon inti. Sa uto ade our Hisense ya. Wasumu Jones Hisense nko na ma 5 years manufacturer defect warranty. Sa Afcon radio. Ya manage no anya double. Every say Hisense mo hama. Hisense. Ya de bona to football. Football team. Hisense she kakra wo ho.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
And you might see.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix, Wukwainso Nyonko Papa.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And with me on the show this morning, I have Eric Amakuchum, who is a spokesperson for government. Eric, good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
Right.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
And then in that, there's also a birthday that I missed. So happy belated birthday as well.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be 50? A few years together.
We can only thank God we're there.
Right, good.
Yes, and we hope that you open new doors and bring a lot of blessings as well. Anyway, so we're expecting the Honorable Roxy Nelson Defemakbo, who is a member of Parliament for the South Dai Constituency, to join us here on the show. But before we get on with the discussion, imagine getting rewarded for doing something you already do every single day. That sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Momo Season is all about. There's something for everyone. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions to a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. Our merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. Keep using your Momo Pay and Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay, earn more points, and win big this Momo season. Visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. Brushing your kids' teeth sometimes becomes difficult due to resistance because of the taste of the toothpaste available to them. Use Kel Kids toothpaste flavored with strawberry that gives a perfect taste for kids and makes them develop a personal attitude and love for brushing their teeth always. Kel Kids toothpaste protects child's gum, prevents cavities, and makes the teeth strong and healthy with freshness all day. Kel Kids toothpaste is recommended for children between 2 and 6 and is a product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and this is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel Kids, happy smile. All right. So the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages. And just as enjoying the fruits of your labor is important, so is enjoying the mansions of your labor. But you need not worry anymore because lifts and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lifts and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 0200 535 515, 0200 535 515, or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. And let me talk to you about alternative medicine, because Amen Alternative Medical Hospital is one of the best alternative medicine hospitals in Ghana today. So for all your health consultations, counseling, physiotherapy, and homeopathic medicine, Amen Alternative Medical Hospital has the best for you. It's the first to modernize herbal and homeopathy medicine in Ghana. They have the best medical practitioners from KNUST with a state-of-the-art medical equipment created for your need. The most obscure ailments can be diagnosed and taken care of. Amen Alternative Medical Hospital is at Klagon on the Lashibia Sherman Road near the Underbridge, and they're open from Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can also reach them on 0207 229505 or 0244 227 192 to book your appointments. Amen Alternative Medical Hospital, God is the healer. All right. So we'll start off with a discussion. Eric, while we wait for the Honorable Defa Makpo to join us here on the show. This is election year, and there are a few developments that have started coming up. We'll start off with a religious one. And the Seventh-day Adventist Church is making a strong case for an amendment to the December 7 elections. The church, in separate petitions, first the Electoral Commission says the elections would have to be moved from the conventional December 7 because the date falls on a Saturday, which will conflict with Sabbath, a holy day dedicated to the worship of God. The church says the first or second Tuesday will be more convenient to promote inclusive democracy. Quote, in anticipation of changing the date for general elections from December 7 to the first or second Tuesday of November, the leadership of the Seventh-day Adventist Church met with the Electoral Commission on Wednesday, June 7. So that should be in 2023. The church proposed to the EC a change from the December 7 date to the first or second Tuesday of November in a general elections year. In an exclusive interview with Joy News, Blessed Soga, Director for Public Affairs and Religious Liberty at the Seventh-day Adventist Church Southern Ghana Union Conference, Dr. Solis Asafo, explained that it is the hope of the church that elections will not be held on any religious day in Ghana. Meanwhile, the church is taking additional steps by sending another petition to the Attorney General and pushing for an amendment of the constitutional provisions which restricts the period of organizing parliamentary and presidential elections in Ghana. Now, in a related development, a member of Parliament's Christian Fellowship, Emmanuel Kwesi Bejra, has stated that Parliament is awaiting the Attorney General's advice on the Seventh-day Adventist Church's request for an amendment to the December 7 election date. Quote, we're waiting. If the Attorney General will listen to them and bring it to us, then we will look at the petition and whether there is merit in taking that amendment at all. Okay, so, the lawmaker said that the petition has not come to Parliament's attention, adding that is news to him. He noted that although December 7 date has been cast in stone, the petition ought to be given a listening ear so the country can decide, given their substantial membership. Quote, if you look at the members, about 395,000 members, it clearly shows that it has at least close to about 1% of Ghana's population. So it's worth listening to them and also look at the merit in it. Private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu has suggested that early voting be held for the church as is done for the security agencies. This, he says, can be done if only the state will be willing to absorb the cost involved. According to him, the only problem he foresees in this option is that it will burden parties in opposition. So we know that December 7 is law. That is the date that the law stipulates presidential and parliamentary elections must be held in Ghana, the general elections. This year's will fall on a Saturday, and SDA, we know for them Saturday is Sabbath, it must be holy, no activity. And so they're saying that in view of this, they engaged the EC as far back as June last year. Interestingly, according to Honorable Bejra, Parliament is not even aware of this. And I guess because they've not heard anything, that's how come they've moved the issue to the media. And they say they are sending another petition to the AG. Now, they are proposing that the December 7 be changed to first Tuesday or second Tuesday in December. You know that we have a holiday, Farmers' Day, which is the first Friday, rather than a date.
Yes, exactly.
It is the first Friday of December. So they are also proposing that we make the election the first Tuesday or second Tuesday in December in the election year instead of a particular date. And they are saying that, well, this particular one affects them, but another could affect some other religious persuasion. And so they think that choosing a Tuesday might not be. I guess that the only thing that's not done on Tuesday is fishing.
Fishing, but it's also the traditional.
Fishing, unless you are going to vote on the high seas.
Cultural considerations and traditional considerations.
So that's their point. Martin Kpebu also thinks that they can have special voting, like it's done for media, security agencies, and others who have a role to play on the day. However, he also identifies the constraints and the pressure it will bring or it will impose on political parties. I don't know what you make of this, but just says that, look, they have over 300,000 members. And so something ought to give.
Well, I think that to start with, good morning to you once again and to the viewers of Good Morning Ghana. The truth of the matter is that the church has every right to advocate for the change. However, I think that they also actually admit that there are certain considerations that need to be taken into account before that can come into effect. You can also argue that some persons would even say that if it's a Tuesday, for example, it's a working day, certain people would have to go to work and then or do other things that will also impact negatively on them in terms of going to the polling stations to cast their ballot. So in other jurisdictions, Randy, you know that this wouldn't have been a problem at all.
Yes.
So there's even mail voting and all of that. You know that anytime we would have actually decided to do something like that, there would be a huge outcry. There would be a resistance. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because there's
a level of
general
mistrust
for each other and all of those things, or even some kind of engaging or activating technology to be able to do that, where you can use electronic means to cast a ballot and all of that. And so, yes, once it's gone to Parliament, let's see what comes out of it. If some space will be provided for them to cast their ballots during the special voting, then, of course, they can be able to exercise their civic responsibility. But it's a very sensitive conversation to have, and they also even attested to the fact that there are other religious considerations as well. So, for example, if all of a sudden one group comes out that they actually also meet on Tuesdays, and so the Tuesday is not conducive enough for them, then you're opening almost like a Pandora's box, but I feel that, without the mistrust, if you had some kind of, either you're deploying technology or mail voting or adding them to the special voting, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But it's interesting. I think that the lawyers will probably also give us an insight as to how we can proceed. The date itself, I think that even if it goes to Parliament, would require 2/3, isn't it? In terms of it, is it not one of the entrenched?
No.
Then if it's not, then maybe some kind of
I'm sure
agreement.
a simple majority will do.
It will do. Well, we can consider that.
All right.
But the truth of the matter as well is that it doesn't always fall on a Saturday. So, if in this particular instance it's falling on a Saturday, then maybe.
So let's say next year
it
falls on a Sunday. And
then
you look at it, somebody will also say there's 70% of Ghanaians are Christians,
right.
and it will affect church.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that we have to be careful how we proceed. But if we can adopt different ways of ensuring that they're able to exercise their civic responsibility and they're not disenfranchised, that would be a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, so we've been joined by a lawyer who's also a legislator, the MP for not Dai, South Dai. Okay, South Dai, the Honorable Roxanne Nelson, the former. Honorable, good morning.
Morning,
right.
Doc.
Right.
Brother, Mr. Chum.
Yes, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
It's been a while.
I know. We haven't met at a while.
Yes,
our base.
I see. Now, we were just discussing the SDA issue.
Matter.
Yes. And the Honorable Bedra says that, Parliament is yet to be seized with the matter. Yes. You are not aware. They are waiting for the AG's advice. And He says that, well, this is a church that has a population of about 390,000, which constitutes about 1% of Ghana's population, and so it's worth looking at. According to the SDA themselves, they met the Electoral Commission in June of last year to bring this petition to their attention. Interestingly, we now have got into, I don't know what the EC has done within that period and what they have told them. So this issue is coming. They are making a recommendation. Their recommendation is that change December 7 and let it read either the first or second Tuesday of December in the election year for the elections, just as the Farmers' Day says first Friday of December. Martin Pebu, a lawyer, also says that one way to look at it is also to grant them special voting. Just like it's done for the security agencies. However, he also concedes that that would also put some pressure or has some implications for political parties if you were to do a special voting for the SDA members. And I just made the point that next year, if it is not a leap year, it will fall on a Sunday. What will also the larger Christian groups say? How do we deal with this issue?
Yes. Okay. I agree with Pebu's proposal. It's actually something that is feasible. Perhaps the difficulty there is for the AC to make the logistical arrangements to cover a larger number of people to accommodate on that. That is why the law, the framers of the law couched it special voting. It is for things like this. So if special circumstances arise, then we use the special voting day to accommodate it. In any particular year that the voting falls on a Saturday, which falls on the Sabbath for the Adventist group. So I think that the issue of the special voting, they should be able to take care of it. EC would have been in a preparatory mood anyway for the election itself on the next day, which is the 7th. So if there are issues as to larger numbers to accommodate on a special voting day, they just have to put their house in order and do that. Yes, it's that simple for me, because it doesn't happen every election year. Or yes, it doesn't happen every election year, or any year that we are supposed to engage in the public elections, it doesn't happen. So on special cycles that the 7th December falls on a Saturday, then we accommodate them. So if you don't do it like that, then every time that it falls on a Saturday, you may have to go to Parliament to change the law.
So I'm sure that is where the church proposes first or second Tuesday in December, believing that Tuesday perhaps is not a day for any particular religious activity. And so they think that perhaps will cover everybody, because it is possible that in a particular election, it could be a Friday.
You see, Tuesdays too are special days for our fisher folks along the coastline. They also don't...
It's a holiday for them.
Yes.
So that would be better for them.
Yes, but... So I feel that it's presumptive. It's presumptive to say that on a Tuesday, it's not a particular day for some religious groups. Some others may want to engage in some traditional or some religious activities. So for me, the special voting day as provided in the law is to take care of things like this. So the special voting day should take care of this. Is that simple for me, Doc?
At which point are we going to get to the stage where, for example, we'll be able to vote electronically, be able to vote by mail, as exists in other jurisdictions? Of course, our level of mistrust and the lack of confidence is extremely high.
Yes.
But at what stage? Because those things then deal with some of these issues.
No, the issue of the Adventists is about participating on that day.
Okay.
It's not, so even if you provide electronic means for them
so it's not a physical movement?
No, that is the issue. It's about participating in the process on that day for them, which is the Sabbath.
So even if they did not, have to move from their homes,
it's the
fact that
they
will be engaging in an activity on a Sabbath.
Yes,
I get
that's the point. Otherwise, going to queue in a police station nearby and sitting at the balcony of your home and casting your ballot on a tablet electronically.
It's just convenience.
Yes, but
that's not their concern.
Yes, their concern is participating.
Don't do anything.
Thank you. It's of that religious reverence for them. It's the Sabbath.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Okay. So let's see how it goes.
Okay.
But for me, there ought to be some finality with respect to some of these things. I don't see why we allow some of these things to drag. If the petition is, if they meet you in June of last year, 7 months ago, I mean, we ought to be dealing with some of these issues.
Easy slept on this and
we don't know what they've done over the period, but at least it appears that the church had been engaged beyond that meeting. They will not be taking their issue to the media and even suggesting that they will send another petition.
Exactly
to the AG.
my point.
Yeah.
Exactly my point.
All right. Okay. So still talking about the EC and petitions, you've also done one. Yours is not a petition. Was it a warning?
It's a letter.
A letter?
Yes.
To do what? A letter over what?
Giving them notice that they breached the law.
Which law? What have they done and which law have they breached?
All right. Yes. Now, the EC pursuant to Article 51 of the Constitution is supposed to, and with your permission, if I may read, it will bring the discussion. So, Article 51 is the effect that the Electoral Commission shall, by constitutional instrument, make regulations for the effective performance of its functions under this Constitution or any other law, and in particular, for the registration of voters, the conduct of public elections and referenda, including provision for voting by proxy. So, pursuant to this provision in the Constitution, the EC, sometime in 2020, brought a constitutional instrument to cover, as it were, general elections, how elections will be conducted. Parliament considered it, passed it, and it got gazetted, it got numbered. So it's called Constitutional Instrument 127. In this law, we have provided for how the Electoral Commission should proceed to perform its functions under its authority. What are some of these procedures? For instance, that in order for you to organize elections, you have to register the people. And when you register the people, you have to put their names in what we call the voters register. And in this voters register, after registering the names of the people, you have to exhibit it for people to come and check whether their names are registered in it or not. If there are issues arising from this exercise, we have provided a procedure as to how these disputes will be managed. All these are put in the law. When you get to elections, we have provided how you should organize the elections on polling station basis. When people come to the polling station basis, we have told you what you should do, how you should even give ballot papers out. We have provided it in the law. And when you give ballot paper out to somebody who hasn't registered, we have told you how the person should be treated. When a person votes, we have provided in the law how the person should even be treated and depart from the polling station. Up one day and says that the procedure that has been provided for you under law for purposes of organizing elections, you don't want to follow one. And this procedure, Doctor, is the procedure regarding authentication of people who come to vote or do not vote. So I walked to a polling station on a voting day. The EC's officers are supposed to check whether my name is in the register, first of all. When they determine that my name is in the register, they are supposed to check again whether I have already voted or not, because there are unscrupulous people. People can just vote and go, and after a couple of hours come back to try and vote again. So when you determine that I am here to cast my vote, you are supposed to apply what the law calls a permanent ink. In our parlance, we've come to name it indelible ink. Now, Randy, you wake up on the 18th of December last year, and by an administrative fiat, directs that the procedure as provided under law regarding the use of the permanent ink, which is the indelible ink, you are waiving it. You will not follow any longer. No reason has been given. So everybody thought it was some joke. But when on the 19th of December, the day for the public elections, which was to elect the assembly members as well as the unit committee members at our local level elections, that directive was carried out. So it means it was no longer an intent, but you have actually given effect to that intent by carrying out the act. So the law that says that in Regulation 33, Sub-Regulation 2, Paragraph C, which provides for the use of the permanent ink, which is the indelible ink, you have waived it. You cannot do that.
A mark.
Yes.
Which shall, underline
yes.
shall.
Yes.
A mark which shall, so far as possible, be permanent.
That's right.
Shall be made on the voter.
Yes. You have issued an administrative directive and you are saying that you are waiving it. You are no longer going to comply.
But this one is small.
It is not small. I'm getting there.
I'll tell you why it's small.
Yes, I'm getting there.
An electoral commission that can by an administrative fiat decide that people in four traditional areas should not vote for a parliamentarian.
I'm getting there.
As for indelible ink there.
So I'm getting there. Now you must also watch the timing of this directive. The directive came on the 18th of December in the afternoon. So by the time persons were in the Christmas mood, and that was also at the time when budget hearing was nearing its peak, because we're supposed to pass the budget by the 22nd or the 23rd. So a lot of people didn't avert their minds to this. It was when you go through the process on the 19th that you realize that this has actually been done. Now, so if you have any protestations about the directive, which was to take effect the next day, you had very limited time to draw the attention to it. And it was the same approach she used in giving that infamous directive to the people of SAR. On the night of December 6, 2020, she issued a similar directive. And like you said, directing that registered voters in 4 traditional areas in this country were not to participate in the parliamentary elections, but were eligible to participate in the presidential elections. So if you had reservations with that directive on the 9th of 6th of December, which was to take effect the next day at 7 a.m., 7th of December, you have very limited time to confront the EC with it. So by this letter, that is why I titled Notice of Material Legal Breach. I am drawing the attention to the fact that a material provision in the law, which is part of the electoral process authentication, has been breached by a deliberate administrative directive. Now, what this does is that if I take my grievance further to the Supreme Court and the court reasons with me along this thinking, the entire district level elections will be declared a nullity, because the procedure provided under law that the EC must follow in organizing the elections has been grossly, violently breached. That's the essence of the notice. And that's not the end. I am further pointing it out to them that under Regulation 45 of the law, where you deliberately breach the provisions of CI 127, it's an offense for which you can go to jail upon summary conviction. You understand? So your deliberate directive, you may not have a better your mind to the fact that it breaches the law, and if the breaching of the law is so deliberate, and the court of law establishes that you deliberately did it, it's an offense under the same law.
Has the EC received this letter?
The letter was written last week. All attempts to serve them, they keep telling my PA that the person who was supposed to receive the letter is
not not a court document.
Yes. So yesterday, my lawyer, Nipako Samwadu, has taken the trouble to go and deliver the letter himself.
To them?
Yes. That is why in the letter I said upon receipt of the letter. So if there's evidence of receiving the letter, then my notice to them to remedy this situation within 7 days will come into effect.
Now, why should it be difficult to deliver a letter to the EC? Why should it be difficult? It's not
no, it's not
an injunction.
It's not even a court process.
Yes.
This is just a mere letter from an enterprising citizen.
Which of the committees in Parliament is seized with the dealings with the EC?
That's the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. So that's why you see that I'm sending a copy to the chairman, Dr. Aini.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And the speaker. Okay. Because you see, it's only Parliament that can repeal the provision that they have breached. Only Parliament can decide that we will no longer use the indelible ink or a permanent ink on a voter when the person appears at the polling station for purposes of casting his or her ballot. Only Parliament can do that. And this is a very recent law that you brought yourself, sponsored. And Parliament agreed to it and passed it after 21 sitting days. Got gazetted. It got numbered.
Okay. Let me bring Eric in. Yeah.
Randy, I feel a bit indifferent about this, to be honest with you. I feel that the processes that we've actually subjected ourselves to, going through a biometric process where now you're able to authenticate biometrically, and then the use of the ink, I honestly don't see where it adds more value to the process. It's just that we've also become used to the fact that that's meant to be preventive and deter people from attempting to go back into voting and all of those things. But then the EC, based on, I haven't seen the directive, to be honest with you, but if going by what you're saying, it means that they feel that if you're going through and you're going to use a biometric process to authenticate, then there's really no need for the use of the indelible ink. But it's like given the initial conversation that we are having about the SDA and how we can accommodate some of these things to allow for a smoother process. So for me, I think that because of some of the peculiar challenges that we have with mistrust and how sometimes these elections are extremely tensed and the stakes are so high, some of these things, in as much as it can be very, trivial, becomes such a huge subject matter that we would have to discuss. As far as I'm concerned, the EC probably should also do a bit more work in terms of telling us exactly the reasons behind not using the indelible ink and all that. And whilst I was listening to my brother here as a little joke, I was like, okay, in this country, we've seen so many things where if you're not careful, one group will wake up and say that they don't even want a mark on their hand. And because it goes against their religions or whatever, and sometimes we just have to be. I mean, sometimes the stakes are a bit high. We have to be a bit.
My difficulty with this issue,
some of the decisions that we.
My difficulty with this issue is
a bit indifferent.
I think that the issue that he has raised, and I raised that issue before I signed off last year. For me, it is not about the relevance or otherwise of the indelible ink. When I go, for me, that's not an issue. Because my point is that these elections are a matter of law. In fact, election disputes end up in court. They are a matter of law. So there's a reason why the Constitution mandates the Electoral Commission to bring the rules that will govern the elections to Parliament for it to be approved. Once it is approved, then the Electoral Commission is on all fours and supported by the law in doing what it is doing. So it can always refer to a provision in the law. That's the reason why these CIs are taken.
Yeah.
So it is the Electoral Commission that took the CI on indelible ink and used shall twice. And the Electoral Commission is led by a lawyer, a very senior one.
At the bar.
Yes, as such. So if there are any reasons for which we think that, look, if we look at the processes, the use of indelible ink really is of nuisance value. What do we do? You see, the law does not empower the Electoral Commission to, by an administrative fiat,
not to comply with it.
Not comply with the same CI that it brought to Parliament for passage, of which passage has been made.
Randy, I think me and you, we probably have a very
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, because you see, the issue of SAR has happened. And I dare say, with the greatest humility, that in any other jurisdiction where truth and rule of law really prevails, those who superintended that act at the Electoral Commission, at the barest minimum, should not be in office. To decide to, by an administrative fiat, disenfranchise people, because I've always asked, on the basis of which law was the Electoral Commission empowered to issue that? No. There must be a law which says that for ABCD reasons, the Electoral Commission can do something. No. So I have been searching and I've been asking for anybody to show me one thing, one law, one piece of legislation that empowers the Electoral Commission to disenfranchise people the way they did in SAR. Till today, I have not found it. Then, you see, because there are no consequences for such actions, you find this one too. And I say that I have absolutely no problems if the EC or anybody else thinks that the issue of indelible ink is superfluous. I have no problem. But what does the law say, the law governing the election say? And if you believe that something is redundant, it is superfluous, it is unnecessary, it doesn't add anything, what does the law say you should do? And is that what the Electoral Commission has done? Which law empowers the Electoral Commission to overrule or override any of the CIs with an administrative fiat? Which one? Which law allows that? For me, that is the issue. Exactly. That is the issue. And constitutional bodies cannot be allowed to act the way they are acting, no matter what their reasons are. That's for me, that's really where the issue is. Because I don't know what is going to, that new administrative fiat that they will give on the eve of any election again, and the consequences thereof. I don't know.
No, so Randy, I think that by and large I agree with you. I like the fact that Roxanne, Honorable Roxanne, is my friend, so sometimes the Honorable doesn't.
Roxanne is okay. Who says that? In fact, the issue of honorable, it's supposed to be how they address themselves on the floor. Yeah. We are not supposed to be calling them that and all that, but I'm sure that out of reverence.
You know, I like the fact that he's taking the time and the trouble to actually write this. And for me, you know my position on some of these things, that should also necessitate a response from the EC.
Yes.
And these things, essentially, for me, enriches our democracy. You know, sometimes, I always say that we are too negative in this country. It's like almost everything is bad, everything. But over the period, I mean, if you follow even democratic processes in advanced democracies and all of that, every day there's something that becomes a conflict that is actually resolved. They go all the way to the Supreme Court to have these things resolved so that people get some kind of clarity on the issues. So when we disagree or when there's a certain divergence in views or how processes are done and all of that, I naturally will not have any challenge with that. Now, even when you're talking about SAL, and I feel that, again, anytime you have these conversations, it becomes very political. I have a major challenge with even the composition of our various constituencies. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like because there's a certain general, if you like, aversion towards either having conversation on how Parliament itself is composed. Nobody wants to have this conversation. How do you have a constituency that has 300,000, 250,000 voters, and you have one that has 14,000, 12,000, right? And we are unable to have these conversations dispassionately to say that, how do you expect that if you're a member of Parliament and you are responsible for 200,000 constituents, you're able to, and then you have one that has 12,000, 10,000, 8,000, right? And so we need to have a better understanding of even some of these laws that govern the EC in terms of creation of constituencies and all of those things, so that it doesn't become a political conversation, right? And that's the reason why, I mean, a situation like SAL, for example, in as much as it's not something that should be countenanced, happened, whereby we didn't want to have that really difficult conversations because you have a district and one constituency should not straddle two district also, and all of those things, right? Two regional boundaries and all of those things. And for me, I think that once we have time, right, this is a time that we should have these conversations. And normally when we want to do these things, we wait a year, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months to an election, and everybody actually reads some kind of either parochial interest or is looking at it from a political standpoint, and that becomes difficult to actually arrive at these consensus. So we need to, I mean, start looking at these things dispassionately. Otherwise, honestly, you would have a parliament, all right, but when it comes to the core, in terms of the real representation of the people, then it becomes something that is not effective because these boundaries, I mean, when it comes to the composition of a constituency, some of it are so outrageous when it comes to going through 1, 2 or 3 constituencies before you get to another one. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we all know that in times past, not to actually implicate anybody, in times past, there's been some level of gerrymandering in this process. And why are we allowing these things to still continue? Otherwise, then we come and sit here, we have these conversations, you guys sit in Parliament, you try to support your people, but the reality on the ground is that it is not efficient, it's not effective, because ourselves, we don't want to have these really difficult conversations.
Okay. Doc, if I may respond quickly to 2 issues that you raised. You see, the creation of constituencies is still a function given to the Electoral Commission and Article 47 of the Constitution. 47 is the effect that 47.1. Ghana shall be divided into as many constituencies for the purposes of election of members of Parliament as the Electoral Commission may prescribe. And each constituency shall be represented by 1 member of Parliament. Now, the issue that you raised, which is in respect of 47.4, for the purpose of clause 3 of this article, the number of inhabitants of a constituency may be greater or less than the population quota in order to take account of means of communication, geographical features, density of population, and area and boundaries of the regions and other administrative or traditional areas.
I agree, I understand.
So the difficulty that we have in aligning the matters as to within the meaning of Article 47.4 of the Constitution is in respect of what population figure is our population quota. And my friend Professor Nimu is the government statistician who just completed a population census, should be able to do this for us. It should be able to give us that the population quota.
Oh, you went to give us?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My senior year.
Oh, okay.
We were in Casford.
Okay.
Very brilliant man.
So did you know him as Kilus?
Yes.
Okay.
Kilus. So actually, it's only in official circle that I call him. So Kilus. He taught us basic stats. So he's always been brilliant with statistics and economics way back. You know? So he should be able to tell us that for the 2021 population census that he just did, the population quota for Ghana, it's say 50,000, 100,000. So that this can be applied as one of the key factors in creating constituencies. Because you see, the Constitution mentioned other factors. So when it comes to my constituency, the matter that you mentioned,
I've been there.
yeah, but let me give you the peculiarities. When I have to visit my community called Chiinu,
on the riverside?
No, on the whole road.
Okay.
Off the whole Askuma, that's Accra, Askuma whole main road. I have to go through a Sojamai in the eastern region. Come to Askuma, come to Sanga, one of my communities, then I drive off. In the same way, when I have to visit Parliament, which is also one of my communities, which share boundaries with Whole West, I have to travel to Whole West, to Chito, Anyinawasi, Avemi, all the way before I get to Fagbe. Or I go through my district capital, Kpeve. Even when I use Kpeve, I must still go through Whole West, which is Bame, before I come. Now, if the honorable member for Whole West, Honorable Emmanuel Bejra, wants to visit his community at Chibu, he must come through South Dine. Because you see, in creating the constituencies, they take into consideration traditional areas too. So these communities also belong to traditional areas who are predominantly also placed in one constituency for ease of administrative matters and cultural values. So it would have been more convenient for Chibu and Bethel and all those communities that fall in Whole West to have been allocated or to have been given to South Dine because of the geographical peculiarities. But because of traditional lines, they are placed in Whole West. And in the same way, Parliament or the other communities that are Pali communities would have been conveniently placed in Whole West. But they are placed in South Dine because the Pali people are predominantly in South Dine.
It also affects the districts and then the administration of it, because if someone is in your district capital, for example, right, and they are okay, but if it's on the other side, they have to go through another district capital.
Yes, not even another district, nearly, but some another region. I just mentioned that I go through a Sojamai
and assess, right,
facilities,
yes, from this
utilities, facilities,
and all of those. And I feel that, I mean, we've gotten to the point where we can have these proper conversations.
Yes, I agree.
Somebody has to take it up and say that, listen, I mean, sometimes even in around the East Legon, Adenta.
I'm only emphasizing the point you made.
Yeah.
Then, to conclude my point on this one, is the issue of the population density. So that my minority chief whip, the Honorable Kwame Abuja. His constituency may be small in terms of population, but geographically, it's such a vast landmass. So it's like places like Central Town or North Town. Okujeto sometimes travels from Bato, he has to cross the water estuary to come to Juapon, Podwe, and all that. But it is not the case in Ashama.
Because it's very...
Ashama is compact, but densely populated. So if you look at the voter population in Ashama, it's huge. But because of the population density, they are packed in a very small geographical area. So again, in creating the constituencies, like Whole West is about 120 kilometers across, from Kisifli all the way to Universia. Kisifli is very close to Japon here, Frankadua here. So Bejra will come to his community in Kisifli and travel back onto the Frankadua Askuma Road to Askuma, to Chito, to Anyawasi, through my constituency again in Pegbe, to Bame, to Jolopita, his capital. Then he will move all the way to the border. So his constituency straddles from a regional boundary, which is with the Sojamai, all the way to the regional boundary, in fact, the national boundary with Togo. That's how vast his constituency is. And yet, when you consider the voter population, it's not as huge as Ashama or Adenta or Domiko Abinya. So it's a fantastic point you raised. But that's why the Constitution gave all these factors to be taken into consideration in creating it. Now, finally, regarding the issue of the indelible ink, you see, don't be indifferent, because the Supreme Court has been very clear in many cases. And I cited one in Boyfield versus NTAC, which my senior Charles Haibo did in 1997. The court is very clear that where the law says follow a certain procedure in doing a public, in performing a public function, it is that procedure that you must follow. If you don't follow that procedure, you have engaged in an illegality. You recall that my friend, the deputy majority leader, in 2016, the Honorable Apejo Makin led his client to the Supreme Court. What happened? He challenged the Electoral Commission for engaging in certain activities that were not in accordance with the law. The Supreme Court shut down the process. The Electoral Commission has spent in excess of 300 and something million.
Oh, is it the District Assembly?
Yes, the last one. I think the two before this one. It was shut down on grounds that the process didn't follow the law. The Electoral Commission was directed to go back and follow the law. That's what the Supreme Court said. So when the Supreme Court says that, when Parliament by a constitutional instrument directs that this is the procedure for doing this, that is what the Electoral Commission is supposed to do. Indeed, the provision and Article 51 of the Constitution is to the effect that the regulations that you are supposed to come up with is supposed to enhance the performance of your functions. It's not to deform it. You're not supposed to bring initiate processes that would deteriorate the process from being properly effective. So the point is this: the Electoral Commission can one day actually say that we no longer need a voters register because we have an electronic base for it, so we don't need a voters register properly so that you can go and open it. That is what they can do one day. Because they claim that there's a BVD verification. But the law provides for a manual verification, because where the BVDs fail, and the BVDs have been failing. In my polling station in Tongochanakwe, the BVD failed greatly. So a lot of people had to be manually verified. And there's a procedure for the manual verification. That is why Regulation 45 says that, 45 clause sub-regulation 2 says that, of the CI 127, it says, An election officer who is required to perform a function under these regulations, but fails to perform that function, commits an offense, and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not more than 500 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 2 years, or to both, and shall for a period of 5 years from the date of expiration of the term of imprisonment be disqualified from being engaged as an election officer. And I'm saying that this provision in the law applies to every electoral officer working with the Electoral Commission who, by some directive, refuses to follow the law. It's an offense.